Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme tonight, starting tomorrow, you'll be able to walk into banks to get your 2,000 rupee note converted into another denomination. It's part of a process that the Reserve Bank of India says had to happen. The notes were in circulation for several years. They needed to be done away with and replaced with other notes which now exist. But that's potentially problematic for several. If you have, for example, just an example, crores stashed away in 2,000 rupee notes, how exactly are you going to get your cash converted without making hundreds of potential visits? You can't, which is why you need to deposit it, and once you do, you attract the attention of the tax authority. For most, though, it is nothing more than an inconvenience. Many don't understand why it's happening at all, which is why we are having this program where we'll be debating the merits of this move and what it means to you. Is this some sort of mini demonetization? Will people with a lot of black money be caught at all? Coming up at 1:30, we'll be focusing on one of our documentaries. 9 years after the Modi government, we'll be focusing on welfare schemes and their impact on countless lives in our country. But first, the great 2,000 rupee confusion, as it were. Joining us now are Gandhi, the former RBI Deputy Governor, and Dr. Chandra Prakash Joshi, the former Senior Vice President of Yes Bank. Thank you both very much for being with us. Mr. Gandhi, let me come to you first. One-word question, why?
Periodically any central bank will withdraw old notes as and when it has been used up by the public. Periodically it withdraws. So sometimes it withdraws through passive means, in the sense that it gives instruction to the bank that old notes be sent back to the central bank. Sometimes the central banks give what we call indulge in active withdrawal, in the sense they give advice to the public to return back the old notes. This 2,000 rupee denomination, when it has been issued all these years after it was first printed in 2016-17, afterwards Reserve Bank has not printed anymore at all. So far, half the notes have come back to the Reserve Bank of India in the normal course. So it might have thought that it is fit to take it back completely. And that's why Reserve Bank has given that instruction. Because less number of notes, if it is allowed to be still be in circulation, it can be a source for counterfeiting, because people will not be able to, longer it stays within the hands of the public, it can result in counterfeiting by the counterfeiters. So to arrest that, Reserve Bank possibly thought that we should take the notes completely back.
Dr. Joshi, if you have several crore rupees in 2,000 rupee notes, and I'm sure there would be people in our country who have that, then obviously you can't walk into a bank unless you intend to walk into a bank several thousand times. You won't have that many days. So the idea, I suppose, at one level is that, okay, fine, you convert what you want to or what you physically can, and the rest you have to put into the bank. And the moment you do that, the tax person will come knocking. So is this not part of an effort which they are not really talking about?
Yeah, I think thank you for asking this. And when you were saying that this is a kind of mini demonetization, I think no, this is not. Because this time there are 2 points. One is rupees 2,000 is still a legal tender. And secondly, the kind of time we have. So we still have 4 months with us to exchange the note. And the clarity RBI and then the government Secretary of the Economic Affairs has clearly mentioned that there is no restrictions on how many branches one can go, one can exchange. So despite of that many restrictions last time in the demonetization, we know largely almost all bank note came back to RBI. So this time with having these many relaxations, it is going to be much more easier exchanging the note.
No, but what about the question that I asked you, which is there not a possibility of actually clamping down with a lot of people with unaccounted money who would realize that if I don't somehow either deposit the money or get it converted, then, you know, at some stage, it will cease being legal. It's legal now, right?
Yeah.
But who knows what it's going to be 1 year later? And who will accept it 1 year later?
Right, absolutely right. But the point is this time, because the time we have is 4 months, and in this 4 month time, there is ample opportunity for exchanging the note. So I understand because we know 3.6 lakh crore of the currency of 2000 rupees is there in the market, but normally we don't see the currency with public. So I have, although I was thinking when last time I saw 2000 rupees note, so it is lying with few people, but they have more opportunity, more time this time to exchange. So it is going to be much easier.
Mr. Gandhi, would this not potentially be a major inconvenience to citizens like you and me if we were to go, if we have 2000 rupee notes and we want to get it converted? Is there not a possibility of a lot of lines being formed? Banks would need to stock up on 500 rupee notes. So even if you have something like 40,000 rupees in 2000 rupee notes and you're just one person, banks would need to cater for that. So the reason I ask is people queuing up and then realizing that it's not going to happen. They'll have to come back or they'll have to come back again. Is that a worry, Mr. Gandhi?
No, it is not a worry because in this post-demonetization, Reserve Bank has printed a lot of other denomination notes which are available both in the hands of the public and in the bank system. So the other denominations are available in sufficiently in plenty. So I don't think it will be a problem for anybody if they so want to convert these notes only into another denomination type of notes. So the notes are available. But it is expected that people would drop it in their own accounts rather than really asking for all these notes to be exchanged with other notes. To the extent that is needed for transaction, people may seek other denomination notes. But by and large, since it's a large value, people may leave it in their own accounts. So to that extent, the demand for new currency notes or the other denomination could be less. It should be manageable because over the period of 4 months, this is supposed to be done. It is sufficiently spaced out.
Okay. Dr. Joshi, is there no possibility that those with high value currency, in other words, 2000 rupee notes, invest that into assets like gold?
Yeah, because of
Dr. Joshi, go ahead, and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Gandhi. Yeah, Dr. Joshi.
So, yes, so we have already seen that people have been queuing up, they have been buying more jewelry. Gold is an asset which is very, very liquid. So this kind of possibility are already there, and the gold price slight increase we have already seen. So this is definitely going to happen, and more to be seen in coming week.
Mr. Gandhi, would you agree that you're transferring one asset into another asset? In other words, you're investing, your cash into gold or jewelry. I mean, we Indians tend to do that: invest in gold, invest in silver, etc., etc. Do you see that going up substantially in the days ahead?
This is not automatically where anybody would want to invest in other type of assets because they have kept it in currency for some specific reasons, and now they have the full opportunity to either they have the freedom to decide to put in their own accounts or in any other form of assets, but they are free. So the expectation is that once it has come into accounts, then probably they may choose to keep it in financial assets rather than in non-financial assets, real assets like gold or anything. Because ultimately, once you have decided to keep in a particular type of asset, any kind of price variation, etc., all those calculations go into the decision. So it is you can't straight away read that they will prefer only alternate assets like gold or something like that.
Dr. Joshi, is there not a possibility that despite what the Reserve Bank has said, that look, this is legal tender in a very finite period of time, and I'm talking about far less than 4 months, you go to a doctor or you go to wherever you want to go and give a 2000 rupee note, and the other person will say, sorry, I'm not accepting it. It's just not convenient for me to take your note.
Yeah, this is a real concern, and it is already happening because the reason also is same. So if I accept 2000 rupees today, then I will have to go to bank to exchange it. Maybe I have to be in queue. So why do I take that kind of pain? So the acceptance of 2000 rupees is already out today with the general public, unless there is a very, very important reason for somebody to accept it. So that's a real possibility which is happening. So tomorrow onwards, it is going to be mainly in the bank where we will see 2,000 rupees coming.
Okay. Mr. Gandhi, just a very a basic question, since a lot of our viewers would want some very simple answers. Why is it necessary for the government to actually get rid of the 2,000 rupee currency? I understand the age factor, you need to replace notes. In this case, they're getting rid of that note. Why not just replace it with fresh notes? I mean, as has been in the past, we had those horrible 5 rupee notes which used to get filthy. You used to go to a bank and you used to get a fresh note. Why not do that on this occasion?
Okay. First of all, we have to answer this question based on the overall scheme of the demonetization when it was implemented in 2016. At that time itself, it was clear to all the people that when you are withdrawing the old notes of 500 and 1,000, to introduce a still higher denomination of 2,000 doesn't fit in within the overall scheme of demonetization. But the country had to do that at that time. Decision was taken to introduce that because we needed to quickly remonetize the economy. Very quickly, we wanted to give back the value back to the people, and that's why it became a tactical decision to introduce 2,000. But everybody clearly understood that it doesn't fit in with the overall scheme. So at the earliest opportunity, it was clear that the 2,000 rupee denomination will be withdrawn. That's why Reserve Bank did not print it after the initial printing in 2016-17. Afterwards, it had not asked for any more printing of those notes. That was the first indication. Second, the Reserve Bank was not reissuing the notes as and when it had come back, because consistently the notes have been coming down. So far, 50% of the notes have already been withdrawn from the circulation. So the next step is to actively withdraw the notes from the general public. So that way it fits in with the overall theme of not having higher denomination notes in circulation. That's the way we have to understand.
Okay. Dr. Joshi, the fact that you can just walk in over there with notes, no questions asked, no documentation required, would it not, since fighting black money is a big goal in this country, should there not have been some record in the banks, of the people who are actually converting this? For example, whether it's your PAN card or your Aadhaar card, right? So that there is some track record of the amount of money a person is converting.
Absolutely, this looks very, very obvious, but the reality is last time demonetization of 2016, when lot of efforts have been made by the government to track the source of black money, and there was huge expectations that we will definitely know some of the sources, but nothing serious happened in terms of the tracing the black money, or a lot of black money being captured, or a lot of tax collection happened on the government end. So 2016 demonetization, what was happening at the end of it, most of the currency came back to RBI. So this time it looks like that, learning from that experience of 2016 demonetization, RBI has kept it very simple, high value currency to be taken back from the system. So let's make it very simple for the public. There is more time, and the doors are quite open, because last time when a lot of this documentation was done, you had to give your Aadhaar card when you were exchanging the note. It really didn't help in tracing out the black money. So I think this time it is looking very straightforward.
Okay. We're also joined by Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the Congress at this stage. Rohan, thanks very much for being with us. I read what Mr. Chidambaram actually had to say earlier on, where he said this is demonetization which has come a full 360 degrees, right? Currency note which was actually introduced to give liquidity in the system when demonetization didn't work is now being withdrawn. But do you believe that there is not sense in actually doing this, that it's not particularly useful, lower currency notes are better, and you've got enough time to actually change the currency? Is that argument not plausible?
See, Vishnu, I feel that this flip-flop has started from the demonetization in 2016. This government is not clear in their objective. When 2000 rupee notes were launched, it was said that because of the lower printing costs and high denomination, the people will say the government will save money. It has cheap, it is a high quality note, and you'll be able to identify the people who are holding the notes. And after 7 years, what we are seeing, the government is withdrawing the notes. So basic objective of getting black money back from the system to the bank, that has flopped in 2016. Now after that, if you see 2000 note, maximum counterfeit notes are there. See, one is black money, Vishnu. We need to understand there is maximum counterfeit, the fake notes are there in the circulation. So we are not addressing that problem. All of us, we are talking about black money. Please tell me one thing. If the government had done exercise of such a huge scale of demonetization and not a single rupee black money has been caught before 7 years, do you feel that this exercise will result in anything? No. Our system is a very robust system, and people who want to take benefit of disadvantage or benefit of that, they will do that. So government cannot trouble the common man. You want to say, Vishnu, that common people won't have 2000 rupees note? How can you say that? Anybody who is earning 20,000 rupees, for example, he's a laborer, for example, he is getting paid in cash. So can you ensure that he won't have 2000 rupee note? So at least he will have to go to bank at least once. And I think that is something which is not correct. The common man has suffered before.
So you're saying it's essentially at this stage, Rohan, you're saying that it's an inconvenience. That's your argument.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about only inconvenience. Is there any objective being served by this government? Forget about inconvenience. The government told before 7 years that it is because of the nationalism, because of getting the black money back to the system, people will get 15 lakhs. So people supported that. Many people died in the lines. But what is the objective? Inconvenience? Okay, agreed. If the government is very clear in their policy that after this implementation, they will bring back black money, inconvenience can be taken by people. But this government has lost the trust now. After 7 years, people cannot trust this government again, which has miserably failed before 7 years, Vishnu.
All right. Well, we're going to be bringing in a BJP spokesperson. We have, in fact, Mr. Patania joining us right now. Mr. Patania, the point that's being mentioned by Rohan Gupta of the Congress party is that what was the need to actually do this? It seems terribly confused. What exactly is your objective? How would you respond?
Congress has a habit of teaching and traveling and traversing lies of all sorts to the people of India. They are in the habit of suspecting each and every genuine move of the government, and more particularly of the Reserve Bank of India. I make a very, very humble submission to Congress. So let's be constructive. Let us be emancipative. Let's not see each and every step up and the move of the government with over anxiousness, with over skepticalness. Let's be constructive. This note, it is already out of vogue. With a view to regulating, though RBI has come with not with a very detailed, but they have explained. It is such a simple move. Everybody can explain. Now everybody can get it exchanged. Now you don't require even PAN numbers. You don't require even registered account numbers also for its exchange. This is a very, very simple move. No need to make a mountain out of a
No, but Ranveer, do you believe that this is actually an important step potentially towards cracking down on black money? Why are we not focusing on that enough? If there is somebody with X crore rupees in 2000 rupee notes, that person, it is not physically possible for him or her to go to a bank and start converting that, right? They will have to deposit or they lose that money eventually. So therefore, is this not a pretty smart way of trying to get to people, which, let's face it, during demonetization, for whatever the reasons, you were not able to get to?
Vishnu, this is an accepted principle of law and as well as income tax law also, that whatsoever may be money, may be immovable property or any sort of movable property also, he has to explain the source, the ultimate source wherefrom he has got it. But I think in this case, the steps and the conveniences which have been spelled out by the government, they are so simple that everybody on street, they say you don't require even a PAN number.
Right.
For simply a bank transaction exceeding 15,000, you require a PAN number. They say you don't require a PAN number. You don't require a registered account number. Go with a note and get it exchanged from a registered and from an identified portal. It may be a bank, it may be a other also exchange center also. I think things are very much simple. This is not a too big an issue to blow such out of proportion. My humble respect to the Congress that let's not, I am repeating it, let's not be over skeptical. Let's not try to see meanings behind the words and go behind the words.
So let's get a response. Rohan, you're reading far too much into this. It's a simple procedural move. That's what the BJP says. How would you respond? Very briefly.
BJP said the same thing, Vishnu, before 7 years. Before 7 years also. A lot of people lost their life just trusting BJP, trusting Modi ji's words that give me 100 days, I will change the things. A lot of people, lost their money also. But what happened after 7 years? I think they are feeling betrayed now. So my only thing is, when a common man has to go to bank to change the money, I think that's not correct. If BJP, this is the first time maybe BJP will be the first government which has launched particular currency note and which has to withdraw in 7 years. I think that speaks for itself that this government doesn't, take steps considering the long term. They just want to take short term steps, trouble people, do the experiments with the people, with their income, with their future, and then again do the U-turn. This is not the first time BJP has taken U-turn. You have seen the three farmers.
All right, I'm running short on time. Ranbir wants to reply.
Farmers lost their life and they withdrew. They have done U-turns whenever they saw that, okay, now people are not happy.
I get that point. I must let Ranbir have a right to respond. 30 seconds, please. Ranbir, go ahead. All right, I think we've lost that audio with...
Yes.
Oh, you're there. Go ahead, Ranbir, quickly.
Actually, this is simply a cleaning exercise of the government, but I have come to infer. And I think this is a cleaning exercise to clean away the black money from the Indian economic, the flow of the system. Elections are also approaching. We are in a very penultimate and a very crucial stage, may it be internationally, may it be economically also. This might have, though RBI has not spelled out. I have very respectfully said, I have nothing to say on behalf of the RBI, of the government, but what I do reasonably come to comprehend that it's a cleaning exercise. And we shouldn't see it over increased.
No, Ranbir, you make an interesting point. Elections are coming up. So therefore, are you suggesting that political parties opposed to this process have got 2,000 rupee notes which are stashed? That's what you're saying, right? Which they will now be forced to convert.
It looks like that Mr. Gaurav and Congress party has a big hoard of 2,000 notes. That's why they are doubting.
Gaurav, apparently you've got a whole bunch of 2,000 rupee notes. Not just you, your party as well. But it's a serious political allegation. How would you respond? Rohan, go ahead.
I think this is what is happening in BJP rule. Whenever anybody raises voice for a common man, they will question the same voice. So this is nothing new. Obviously, you tell me, Vishnu, how many billionaires you could find in line before 7 years? Not even a single one. Who has suffered? Who has lost the life? The common man of the India? We cannot allow that to happen, Vishnu. If you want to stop black money or want to stop hoarding, you have to take, proper steps, a long-term policy, taking everybody in confidence. And I'm surprised why PM hasn't come on screen and announced it.
All right. Why has PM not come on screen and announced it? I'll tell you what, we will have this political conversation later on. But I think a lot of our viewers want to know what this entire business is all about. My colleague Priyanshi has these details.
A day before the exchange of the now withdrawn 2,000 rupee notes begins, all of us have a lot of questions. The RBI Governor Shakti Kanta Das has answered these important questions today. First things first, as the Reserve Bank plans to exchange all 214 crore 2,000 rupee notes or get them deposited in banks by the 30th of September, are banks across the country ready for this exchange? Here's what the RBI Governor said.
We have more than adequate quantity of notes available, already printed. We have more than adequate quantity of printed notes already available in the system. I would like to appeal to all the viewers. There is no reason to sort of rush to the bank. Take your time. 4 महीने की समय दी गई है. आप आराम से 4 महीने के अंदर जब भी आपको सुटेबल होता है, आप नोट एक्सचेंज करिए. ऐसा नहीं कि आप तुरंत आज ही जाए, कल ही जाए.
With that important message asking people not to panic, the RBI Governor also answered concerns about what will happen after the September 30 deadline. What if you're unable to exchange your notes in time?
The legal tender character, we have said that it continues. Now we expect most of the notes to come back. That is our expectation at this stage. We will see how much notes come back. And as we approach 30th, we will decide, at that stage. Let me assure the people who are abroad, the people who are now in the foreign countries, and let me assure people who are within India, कि जो भी कठिनाइयां आप फेस करते हैं, we will be sensitive to that.
So if we will still be able to make payments using these notes even after September, then why do we really need to exchange them before this deadline? Here's the answer.
Unless you give a particular time, unless you specify a particular time, the process will not reach a stage of finality. And you have to give a time so that the announcement is taken with the seriousness. It is taken seriously and people come and exchange their notes.
Another important question. Why is there a limit on exchanging only 10 notes at a time? Listen to the RBI governor's answer.
2013-14 जो कि जनवरी 2014 में जो 5 पुराने नोट्स को एक्सचेंज करने था, उस टाइम भी था कि आप 10 पीसेस एक्सचेंज कर सकते हैं, 10 पीसेस. अभी भी 10 पीसेस किया है. And for ease of convenience also.
Though there's a limit to exchange 10 notes, that's only for one transaction at a time. The RBI says you can also exchange more than 10 notes in a day by visiting the same bank multiple times or by exchanging notes at different banks on the same day. But why does the RBI not want us to have any 2000 rupee notes after all? Why are they being withdrawn? The RBI governor has listed multiple reasons.
These 2000 notes were primarily issued for the purpose of quickly replenishing the value of money which was being taken out from the system when the the then prevailing 1000 rupee notes and 500 rupee notes were what is called when their legal tender status were withdrawn. That purpose has been fulfilled. Today there are enough notes in circulation of other denominations.
Lastly, several BJP leaders said that this move will help curb black money as it's usually stored in these high-value notes. But if one doesn't have to fill any form or present any ID proof while exchanging these notes, how will these exchanges be monitored to nab those with black money? Will the RBI scrutinize how many notes a person is depositing?
RBI तो कोई scrutinize नहीं करता है. बाकी जो एजेंसीज है इनकम टैक्स वगैरह हो वो तो अपना नॉर्मल प्रोसीजर फॉलो करेंगे, लेकिन आरबीआई के तरफ से हम ऐसे किसने कैश ये किया, हम आरबीआई के तरफ से नहीं उसको नहीं करते हैं. जैसे आपको पता होगा बैंकों का एक रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम है जिसको सीटीआर एसटीआर वगैरह कहते हैं, आपको सबको पता है, वो तो मॉनिटर करते हैं.
Now, all eyes on how banks manage the exchange and deposit requests from tomorrow to September 30th. But for all those who want to exchange, there's no need to panic as you have more than 4 months in hand.